Now, a little clue to which Safari Live viewers are sitting in final control. They might be on safari at Chitwa, and they might have my little brother as their safari guide. Even the elephant's listening. He started keeping still. I'm just going to try and maneuver us into a slightly better position without getting too close to him. He's obviously chosen the most difficult spot for us to get around. Oh, watch out. There we go. This looks like he might be having a snooze against that tree. He looks like he's been here all day. And it's not... Is it the musk bull? What do you do? He was... Look at that. He's resting his face on that branch. What is he doing, actually? I can't really see what he's doing. But he's being... Oh, dear. Okay, no, VMP, let's... So, it looks like he's actually... So, guys, this is quite a possibly dangerous situation, so I'm just going to move the car into a place that I can escape if I need to be. It looks like he's quite badly injured. From it looks like the size of that injury, it looks like he tangled with another big elephant, and it looks like a tusk puncture. Something's pulled out a lot of his insides, so this is quite a serious injury, and that's why he was probably trying to rest his head up on that tree. Okay, so shame, boy. Now we can't really see what's going on the other side, but that looks very, very serious from this side. He's not showing any or displaying any aggression at all towards us at the moment, but you can see him leaning against that tree to try to take the weight off his injured left side. Shame, big guy. Now, male elephants, when they do fight, it can be very, very serious. And it looks like he's probably been injured by a big tusk, and it's pulled through. Now, animals, of course, are incredibly resilient, and they can sometimes come back from what we consider to be absolutely horrific injuries. So what I need to do now is I need to get hold of the Sabi sands quickly, just because an injured male elephant like this can be a potential threat to people on safari, and if he gets close to safari lodges. So we just need to inform someone, and I'm going to do that quickly. While we do that, let's go across to Taylor so she can say good afternoon. Hey guys, I'm just warning everyone, this is not the nicest view around, so if you are sensitive you might not want to look. So I've reported, I'm just waiting for a call back from the wardens and stuff, and you can see there quite obviously that it's a tusk wound from another elephant. So it isn't from human beings, but you can see the wound is quite serious, and you can just see that from his behavior. Now you can see there's even a stick stuck in there. So I mean, this looks relatively recent within the last couple of days, and shame, he must be in so much pain. So it'll be up to the Sabi Sands to decide what to do. I've just got to wait here till I hear back from them, and if they need GPS coordinates and things like that. No, it does look quite bad, shame. And he's showing no sign of aggression or anything like that. He's just resting up against this weeping wattle tree. See how he keeps throwing sand on the wound, and what he's doing there is trying to keep the flies off it. course, that injury is quite bad, but he doesn't look too weak just yet. So the predators possibly could take advantage of this, and that's what Matt's wondering. Will lions take advantage of this elephant? There is a strong possibility, depending on how weak he is. Hyenas as well would definitely. I've seen hyenas harass injured ellies before, for up to 2 days before actually managing to kill the elephant. So it is one of those difficult things. But that is nature, and that's how nature plays out day after day. When we're not watching. So one must remember that we are observers here. We're not here to interfere. Romit, it's such a difficult question you're asking, Romit, about if the animal is endangered, will they interfere? You saw what happened with that wild dog. They didn't interfere. So if the injury is deemed to be caused by human beings by some way, then the vets will sometimes interfere and try heal it. But most of the time in these situations, nothing will happen. If they do decide to interfere with this elephant, it's difficult to say what will happen, but they just need to know about it, because it is a potential safety risk to all of us out here. I mean, bushwalks and other game drive vehicles, and if he wanders close to camps and he's injured and trying to get water or food. So that's why I've notified people he is a potential safety risk. I wonder if it was that musk bull we saw this morning. That is something a big musk bull like that might do to a younger bull like this. While in must, not necessarily when they're out of must, but when in must, that is something that massive musk bull we had on the Sunrise Safari might do. Now, Rhonda's asking about the age of this Eddie. He's old. He's not a very old bull. I'd say he's probably around 30. So he is an adult. Oh, shame. He's throwing dirt on that wound again. And it's quite bad. You can actually see there's a little, it looks like an acacia stick that's got actually stuck in some of the tattered flesh there. So, as I say, it's quite fresh, and at the moment he might not be a problem, but if infection sets in, he could become a very dangerous animal here. So, whether the choice is made to leave him, or euthanize, or treat, I'm glad I'm not the one who has to make those decisions. And we've had quite a close look at the injury, and Bobby's wondering, is it just skin or intestines? It actually looks to be pieces of intestine, Bobby. So when we first saw him hiding behind the tree, I just thought he was having a snooze, and as we moved around, I just got that smell of stomach. So the chances of it getting infected are very, very high. And especially since it's dangling like that, if he moves through the bush, it could get tangled on stuff, as you've seen there. I'm just going to move a little bit forward. Shame, big boy. You okay there, Viam? Now, as I said, what happens to him, I'm glad I'm not the one who has to make those decisions, but JK is asking if he's euthanized. Will he be euthanized if he there's a danger towards the safari vehicles and stuff like that. Again, it's not my place to answer those questions, JK, but I think a careful decision will be made. Oh, it looks like there's just a fresh bout of blood coming out now. Something moved. You can, on the back right side, so I just suddenly saw a little gush of blood coming out. There we go. And as I said, if you are sensitive, this is not for you. We're not going to be here the whole afternoon. I'm just waiting to hear back from the authorities. And as soon as I've heard back from them, I will be leaving. I just need to know whether they need GPS locations and things like that. It doesn't look like he's going to move anywhere. It looks like he's been here for quite a long time. Now, of course, seeing stuff like this is difficult, and Emma is asking, does it ever get easier? Emma, I should hope not. I mean, to a degree, we are immune to certain things. Well, more immune than people who don't deal with it on a daily basis. But it's never nice to see anything suffering, animal or human. So if you get too used to it, I'd say there's probably something wrong with you. Shame. So he's just been moving around this tree throughout the whole day. I can see from the tracks he's flattened the area, and he just can't seem to get comfortable. You can just see how he's been there kicking up the dirt, spraying the dust on that wound. Oh, sorry. I need to answer the phone quickly, so next, if you need to link away, can you please do it? Okay, cross to Taylor. Hello. Oh, sorry everyone. I'm eating ice. It's very hot. Just under 100 Fahrenheit. So we're busy still formulating a plan. I'm just waiting for another phone call. Should be, hopefully won't be here longer than another 10 or 15 minutes while we get the right people on the way. So as I said, the biggest danger with this Ellie is not now, while it's quite fresh still. It's in a day or two when it gets if it gets infected with intestines and stuff, it probably will. He could become very aggressive and take it out on all sorts of things, including vehicles, bushwalks, lodges, housekeeping ladies while they're collecting stuff like that. So at the moment he is nice and relaxed, but he is a potential danger down the road a little bit. Oh. Now, Ludmila was asking, is there any chance that Eddie could have got better? And I was sort of umming and ahhing, but then he defecated, and his dung came out runny and full of blood. So, you see there, Vyampi. So, it wasn't the normal plop, plop that you hear from an elephant. Yeah, so it just sort of shot out. And I could see specks of blood in it, which, as I say, is not a good sign. And it means he's wounded quite badly somewhere in the digestive tract. So there's, if I'm honest with everyone here, there's very, very little chance of survival for this elephant. I'd say that wound probably happened last night or yesterday. Although it's very difficult to tell, especially with these Eddie bulls, because they keep throwing dust all over the wounds. It's a shame, big boy. Now, Now, unfortunately, this is one of those realities about living out in the bush, that sometimes it isn't all strawberries and cream. Now, if we take a positive from this elephant dying, this elephant will die from a natural cause, and a wound from fighting with another elephant bull. Coast Rider is asking what animals will eat it. Now, that's the positive, that if this elephant does die, it does provide a huge amount of food and nutrition back to the bush. I've seen lions, hyenas, I've even seen leopard feed off dead elephant. But mostly it'll be lions and hyenas, and apart from that, apart from the lions and hyenas, the beetles, the carrion beetles, the scarab beetles, the dung beetles, flies, maggots, a whole host of other insects. So, I mean, it's his legacy will be putting back to the earth in terms of nutrients and food for other animals. I say at the moment he's trying not to move too much, but he can't help himself. Sorry guys, I need to take the call, so no. Hello? Okay, so Nikki, are we still having tech problems with the other vehicles? So I do need to be on the phone for quite a bit. Okay, it sounds like Taylor has moved out of or fixed her gremlins or moved into a good signal area, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappear for a little bit to try sort out everything about this elephant, and hopefully we'll be back a little bit later with Hosana. So sorry about that guys, we're still busy trying to sort out the issue of this elephant. The Sabi Sands I just had a chat with. They have so in theory, if anything has to be done with an elephant, it has to come with in Mpumalanga, which is the province we're in. It has to be notified to the Parks Board. Sorry guys, standing by. So actually it's fine, they're now between Batalia and Yala Road South in that Shkova. So Spaghetti Junction, that side is fine. Station also update, Kudu alarm call, it sort of sounds like Nyala Road North Junction with Central Road. I'm following up. Okay, so we've zoned that area and we're not letting any other vehicles into that area. That musk bull arrived while we were there looking at the injured animal. The injured animal immediately started walking towards us. That's what you saw there. We couldn't see the big musk bull coming. So we've just left that area completely alone, and we're going to go follow up. So while we were chatting, I'm just having a drink of water, nothing out of my hat just yet. But I'm checking some of my favorite bush baby hangouts. I haven't seen a bush baby since I've been back out. I've seen them at Inga's house, but not out and about. And there's almost always a good chance just around the old bush price height. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering about the fate of that poor elephant who's got some of his intestines hanging out. So it's been reported to the Parks Board in Mpumalanga Parks. They will be coming through in the morning to assess that animal, and it will be up to them what decision is made. I'm not going to lie to you because I'm not that type of person. I think most likely, the most likely decision that will be happening with that animal is it will be euthanized. Now, just because of the high density of people in this area, and safari lodges and bushwalk and tracking and all that type of stuff, it poses a very, very serious threat to anyone while on safari, or specifically when you're on foot. Now, the thing is, he's fine now. It's a fresh wound. He's sore, but you could see he was completely relaxed around the vehicle, and so the problem will come in about a week or so, maybe even shorter, with this very hot weather, where that wound gets infected, and it's almost certainly going to get infected because the intestine is punctured, and you could see blood, and his dung was really runny, so you could see that already. So the infection would set in, and the fever. Firstly, that would cause the animal a huge amount of pain. Secondly, it now makes that animal extremely dangerous. Now, if this had been in an area in the far northern Kruger somewhere where the tourists don't go, and a section warder had found it, he probably would have left it. But because it is in an area where we operate constantly all the time, it does make sense. And as I said, I don't want to lie to you. That elephant is not going to be fine, and it is very, very sad, and I feel very sorry, and it's never easy to see that type of stuff. But if we think about it logically, it's probably safer for everyone, and a lot more comfortable for the elephant if he's, what was that? If he is euthanized, because dying from septicemia, whoopsie, it's a little steenbokkie. I thought it looked like a little kitty cat. I don't want to put the lights on the little steenbokkie. If he dies from septicemia, or even pulled apart by hyenas in a it'll probably be 2 weeks or so. It's going to be a far worse death for him. So I think probably as I say, I can't be sure. It's not my decision to make, but I think logically that is the decision that is going to be made when the parks get here tomorrow, and I think that's best for all parties involved, the elephant and all of us who live and work out here on a daily basis. So I know it is very sad, and I hope you guys just understand that you must also understand that the people working for the park sometimes have to make some incredibly difficult decisions, and just be glad that you don't have to make those decisions with such incredible animals like elephants and wild dogs and cheetah and lion and leopard. So it is very sad, but it is one of those things, and it is something that happens out here in the wild from time to time. But I'm hoping we can end the safari on a happy note with a big Birmingham roar.